This episode of the Media Leader podcast was edited by our production partner, Trisonic. For a full range of audio, media buying, and creative services, including podcast production, check out trisonic.co.uk.
And when the community start to understand, I can watch a couple of ads today and I can feed someone. That feels really different.
Welcome to the Media Leader podcast. I'm Jack Benjamin. Social media gets a lot of flack. Its critics accuse platforms of causing massive negative externalities on society. Everything from crumbling democracies to mental health crises get blamed on social media. And social media, as a term, has even become so toxic that social media companies themselves prefer to refer to themselves as anything but social media. The tagline to Snapchat's marketing campaign last year was, quote, "Less social media, more Snapchat." TikTok calls itself an entertainment platform rather than a social one. But does social media need to be this way? Perhaps not. WeAre8 is a challenger platform that wants to prove social media can have a positive impact on society. The platform has at least publicly committed to the importance of brand and user safety. It disallows anonymous accounts, and perhaps most importantly, it has a unique opt-in advertising experience that shapes the incentives for how the rest of the platform operates. WeAre8 calls itself the people's platform, but does it have the requisite scale to attract advertisers looking for strong business results and not just a morally driven goal of spending with supposedly nicer players? I sat down with WeAre8's UK Managing Director Laura Chase to find out more about the app and whether it has the legs to go the distance against its much bigger competitors. This is our conversation. I hope you enjoy. Laura Chase, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So you spent more than 17 years at Hearst UK before joining WeAre8 in 2021, first as Chief Commercial Officer and now as Managing Director. I'm curious, what attracted you to the media industry in the first place, especially publishing? And then why'd you make the move to WeAre8 in 21?
Yeah, God, it feels like quite a long time ago. It was. I was at uni, I'd studied marketing and went for an interview, a couple of interviews, obviously at a national magazine company as it was called then. Got the job on the Friday and started on the Monday. And then 17 years later, I was still there. But I mean, it was amazing. And magazines were just, to be kind of in my early 20s and to work in publishing and on female women's magazines like Cosmo and Company was just, it was amazing. And I spent 17 very happy years there learning about magazines. Obviously, social media took off whilst I was working there. I worked in partnerships specifically, and I think partnerships is just a brilliant training ground because you learn the business inside and out. You have to work with editorial. You work across every single ad product. I worked across every single Hearst brand, which means you work with every single category of client, all the agencies, and I learned so much and just loved it. Made amazing friends there. But then had my babies, two kids, boy and a girl, and I just changed the perspective on life, I think. And when I came back from having my second baby, one of the things I was most proud of doing at Hearst was the work in the purpose space. So I did a lot of the work on sustainability and our commercial offerings around sustainability, D&I, mental health, and it kind of showed me how media can really change things in a good way for people. And I knew when I was thinking about what I wanted to do next, I knew that was important to me. How could I find more purpose in media? And then, I got introduced to Zoe, our amazing, incredible founder and CEO. And within about 10 minutes, I was like, what? Well, there's no way there's no way I'm not doing this. Absolutely no way. Heard about everything that she'd done throughout her career to that point, was just blown away by her brilliance and just the way her mind works. And got offered the opportunity to go over to WeAre8 and here I am. It's been amazing.
I must say, I think you might be the first or certainly one of a very small number of people that intentionally got a marketing degree wanting to get into this industry. Almost everyone else I interview
fell into it. Yeah. I loved it. I did business studies actually at A-level, and the bit within, I hated economics. That bit just, that was tough. But loved the marketing piece. And I absolutely loved my degree. And wanted to work in media and advertising, and magazines were just dreamy. It really was.
Yeah, I'm definitely a bit jealous, but it's fun to be online just as well. A lot of listeners likely aren't as familiar with WeAre8 as they are with many of the other mass-scaled social media platforms. So catch us up. Why was WeAre8 founded? I believe it was founded in 2012, so it's been around a while. And what is the mission?
Yeah. I mean, if ever you get the opportunity to listen to anything our founder has done, any podcasts that she's recorded or any events that she's speaking at, definitely go along. One of the businesses she built before WeAre8 was called Standard Media Index. Massive global media data aggregation business, tracks ad spend, embedded into all the big agency networks around the world. And she'll tell the story way better than I can, but when she was running SMI in New York, Facebook launched. And she'd built a massive data infrastructure that looked at where money was being spent across the industry. And she watched the money start to move. She watched local journalism kind of slowly start to implode. She could see early the impact it was starting to have on people's mental health. We know massive climate crisis on our hands. We don't have long. Huge mental health crisis. And she saw all this money, 200 billion it's expected to be this year, all this money heading over there, all these problems over here, and saw opportunity in that. And that opportunity is to rewire the economics, build a really flipping brilliant ad model that redirects billions of dollars back to people, publishers, planet, charities all around the world. And meanwhile kind of wraps around a really safe, positive social experience around it. So yeah, WeAre8's been built to bring people the very best of social and remove all the bad bits, of which unfortunately there are quite a lot. And we try not to dwell on these things, but the things that we think about with everything we do at WeAre8 is how do we give people a really positive social media experience? How do we bring them the very best of the content that's out there in the world and none of the other stuff? How do we keep people protected from abuse, from toxicity, from bullying, from sextortion, all the things? And how do we bring about economic liberation, which sounds huge, but actually, I say we, Zoe, our amazing tech team out in Greece, they've built it. So it's been an incredible thing to be a part of, and there's so much stuff coming as well. But yeah, WeAre8 key things: positivity for us all, protection for us all, and moving billions of dollars of ad revenue back out into the world.
I will ask you about the ad model as well as all those hows that you've hinted at, because I imagine it's very tricky to try and do what you're doing. But first, in terms of the pitch to consumers, how are you getting people to come to the platform? Yeah,
I mean, you can't switch on the news at the moment without seeing the bad stuff about social. It is there every day, and that's not going away because of everything that's happened across other platforms, rolling back on D&I initiatives, all of these things. It's the noise and dissatisfaction is getting louder and more intense by the day. So there are many people out there who are actively desperate, really, for something that doesn't do all of those things. A place where they can feel at home and that's going to bring out the best in kind of them and humanity. So for a lot of people, they're really ready. So it doesn't take convincing in that instance. We kind of tell them there's great stuff happening over here. Come and join us. Or if you do want to continue there, that's your choice. We are a platform that's about freedom and choice. And we just want people to know we're here when you're ready. There's all the good stuff happening. So come and join us.
And how many users are there globally / in the UK?
Yeah, so UK are about 1.6 million monthly actives. We're seeing really steady, great growth throughout the kind of last 6 to 12 months as we've really kind of focused in on how we spread the word and partnerships, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a bit. But we're growing quickly and we're on a mission. Last year we really dug deep on product features. How do we make sure that everything we're offering people all the functions that they might expect and want, but safety has been so important for us. So we've dug deep for a bit last year. Does our AI work as we need it to? Can we bring on a billion people around the world and still keep that same volume of people safe? Because that's so important to us. So we've tested a lot. And actually kind of the past 12 to 18 months has given us just a bit of time to train the AI, to make sure that everything is working exactly as we need it to be able to, pull in up to 30 million videos every single day and make sure all of them are aligned with how we position our products and our platform. So we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah. Brand safety has definitely been a big topic for advertisers, for users in relation to social, especially since Meta controversially rolled back its own content moderation efforts in the start of the year. So you've talked a little bit about the plan for WeAre8, but using AI tools to assist in moderating against hateful content, as I understand it, is not necessarily that different from what a lot of the other social media companies at least were doing. And the challenge was always that it is really hard to accurately use AI to wholly moderate everything across a scaled platform when people are posting so often. So I'm curious, you say it works. How is it working better than some of the competitors?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So when you set up your WeAre8 profile, you can only verify that account with a mobile number, not an email address. So that stops duplications of accounts. It also means that people can't be anonymous, even if they want to label themselves Mickey Mouse or whoever they're going to say they are. On the back end, we absolutely know who everyone is. We've got, we will kick people off the platform straight away. We will blacklist their number. We will report them to the police. They will have to go and get another mobile phone if they want to set up another account on WeAre8. So that piece alone really does eliminate quite a significant proportion of the bad behaviour that's going on elsewhere. But we scan, and in addition, we scan every video, we scan every image, we scan every caption, every comment. It gets blocked pre-publication. Obviously, Meta have now said they're letting everything out into the world to do its damage, and then they're, taking down stuff that is causing damage. That's not our world. We'll block it, and then our team of people will look at it afterwards and make sure that it should have been blocked. Sometimes we're blocking stuff that shouldn't be blocked. So we'll then let that through. But it's been a really interesting process to train up AI, because it's amazing what AI thinks about humanity. And it's it's a bit distressing, because it thinks we're greedy and we hate each other and all of these things, but we're training it with the polar opposite values. And one of the challenges we've had really is probably the opposite end, where it's perhaps oversensitive and it's catching stuff that maybe it shouldn't. So, but we've taught it about context. And sometimes people can swear, but it's in quite a positive way, in an elevating way. So we've taught it that. And I encourage you to test it. We were doing some work with some creative agencies a couple of weeks ago, and one of them came in and they'd had a great time trying to hurl abuse at each other on WeAre8. And the only comment that got through out of all of the abuse they hurled at each other was, "You stink."
Really biting.
Well, yes, exactly. Right. And it just makes you laugh. So yeah, encourage you to test it, but all of those things at play together help us create a space where people aren't subjected to toxic abuse.
Does that create difficulty in relationship with creators who might be wanting to post things immediately all the time?
No.
And then there is, of course, as you mentioned, there's sort of a check first, especially on something that might be problematic in some way that could create a delay in terms of when people actually see it.
It publishes it immediately. I mean, it's literally milliseconds. If you have got something that's potentially flagged, yes, it may cause a very small delay, but that's few and far between. And actually, when you explain to people why that delay has happened, they get it and they're here for it and it makes sense to them.
So I want to talk about the ad offering as well, because it's quite unique. As I understand it, it's essentially an opt-in model where users can choose to watch an ad and then get rewarded with it. Can you explain the thought process behind that ad model and some of the details?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about where we've got to from an advertising perspective, particularly in digital and social, we're just pounded with ads. Every minute of every day, we're pounded with ads. And Zoe, she puts it perfectly. You know, she says humanity, we've become the largest unpaid workforce in human history. We are being monetized all day long by big tech. So Zoe obviously looked at all of this and thought, well, is there a way that we can make people feel good about advertising in a digital and social environment? Is there a way that we can make them actively want to engage with brands again? And yeah, the answer is yes. And it is about choice and control and valuing people for their time. You know, if you, as and when you go on to WeAre8, you'll notice that there are no ads in our feeds. There's little notifications that invite you to watch ads if you want to, on your own terms, when it's convenient for you. And if you choose to watch an ad, then we will share 60% of what's been paid for your time with you, with charities, with planet projects, and with publishers and creators. So you go into the ad experience with the knowledge of, I'm watching this ad and I'm benefiting from it, but actually other people are benefiting too. So our opt-in rates are about 98%. People, when you invite people to do it on their own terms, they're really happy to.
And they're getting paid for it. Yeah,
they're getting a little micropayment into their wallet, into their WeAre8 wallet, which, check it out if you get a moment. Every time you watch an ad, you accrue micropayments, and then you can choose what you do with that money. So you can keep it. It is real cash. You can put it in your PayPal account. You can pay it forward to a charity or a community group or a cause that you care about. And actually 54% of people choose to pay some or all of their earnings forward. So when we were looking at, well, how should we split this 60% out? Should we give more to you? Should we give more to charity? At the time, Zoe and a fantastic team of behavioural scientists did a lot of work around, well, how do we make sure as many people as possible are going to want to watch ads? And again, it came back to control. If we give you some money and then you choose if you want to keep it or if you want to pay it forward, and if you want to pay it forward, there's a whole host of charities and community groups that you can pay it forward to. Having that control over it, that's what gave us much higher opt-in rates. And for brands, actually, it brings about all the positive sentiment and all of those lovely things. But we do a lot of work talking to our community. You know, it costs 24p to get someone a meal through Fair Share. So we can fix big problems by watching ads, which just, it feels amazing to work for a business that can drive such seismic change. And when the community start to understand, I can watch a couple of ads today and I can feed someone, that feels really different. And the ad model, people watch the ads from start to finish. So if you have created a beautiful 2-minute ad, people will watch the whole thing.
Are they forced to in order to get a payment?
They're not forced to. They can stop watching it at any point. But yes, to activate that payment and to get the money to a charity as well, you watch it to the end. But the money that you get depends on the length of the video asset.
Gotcha.
So it will be a larger payment to you and to charities and to planet projects if it's a 2-minute asset versus a kind of 6-second or 10-second asset. The brand gets to then ask you a few questions. So you can do a little mini brand lift study. You can build audience segments. You can reinforce your key campaign messages, and then click out to find more. So we know 67 times more attention than Instagram. We did that study with Lumen and Scope 3. Obviously, you're getting 100% view through rate, 100% viewability. Click through rates average at around 5%, which is massive compared to the 0.9% that you'll get elsewhere. So the reimagining, which hasn't happened, let's be honest, in digital or social media, the reimagining of a whole ad model, in this case, well, it's needed, but it's really powerful because it gets brands attention, it gets them positive sentiment, and it gets them outcomes.
Is it effective for brands? Because I imagine a lot of brands, if you just told them, well, people are opting into viewing ads, might feel initially nervous about, well, that means that I might be spending to not reach every single person on this platform. Is there an effectiveness conversation that goes on in the background when you're sort of pitching to potential advertisers?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hugely effective platform. There is a fixation around giant reach numbers and very limited amount of attention. Obviously, we know there's a massive amount of fraud. Our story on WeAre8 is reach, verified, non-duplicated, actual humans. They watch your ad from start to finish. They like you. They like you a lot for showing up in this space and talking to them in this way. And they're far more likely. Purchase intent is way higher. All of the key metrics are, we smash it compared to any other social platform.
And what types of innovations are you looking to drive? Because I assume advertisers always want more. They want the next thing. I know a lot of the other platforms are delving deep into AI-based performance, basically allowing everyone to just send them information and then they handle the campaign for them. But what types of things is WeAre8 looking at doing?
Yeah, so we built our own buying engine, SAMI, which stands for Sustainable Ad Manager Intelligence. So there's lots of work happening on SAMI, so more to come in that space, and we will tell the media leader first, obviously, as and when we can.
Well, thank you. I'll hold you to that.
But for us, it's actually, we're very focused on building out our portfolio of ad products at the moment. So our kind of hero ad product is bought on a cost per completed view basis. We are launching a brand feed, which will enable brands to buy on CPM, which will be big for us. It's come up a lot, I will say that, in the last few years, that people are used to trading and buying in a certain way with social platforms. So moving into that space, we're excited to do that and hopefully, unlock the opportunity for lots more brands. We are also excited to be partnering with Magnite. So programmatic supply coming in through that brand feed, because having obviously spoken to you about our ad model, people like ads on WeAre8 and they complain to us when there isn't enough. So
you're saying consumers are actually wanting more ads?
Yes.
Because they want to make more money, presumably, or view other content.
They want to come in and have opportunity to watch ads, to get money in their wallet, to get money to charities, to get money to the causes they care about.
So you actually have an undersupply problem.
Yes.
Probably pretty rare position to be in.
Yes. So that Magnite partnership, we're really excited about that. And with all of our ad products, everything, 60% will always go back to charities and good causes and planet projects, and that's exactly the same in this instance as well. And also, and please tell me if you can think of another platform that could do this, but again, you heard it here first, we will be launching a voice note ad product, which is coming in time for HFSS.
Oh boy.
Yes. So we're working on that now, and people will, as they do with our hero ad product, they'll get a little notification which will tell them that they have a new voice note ad ready for them to listen to. They can then listen to that voice note from start to finish, and as with our other ad products, that then triggers the money being shared. So we have spoken to a few brands that we're close to and doing a lot of work with, and some of our agency contacts, and there's a lot of excitement around this ad product. I don't think anyone else could do this.
And you mentioned it's around HFSS. Could you just explain exactly why that's so important?
Well, yeah, obviously the rulings that are coming into place from October.
That's right.
Yep. You can't advertise HFSS products anywhere digitally. So obviously there's a lot of brands out there wondering what they're going to do. TV as well, I think it's post 9 p.m. So we're excited about this solution because it enables them to have a presence and reach people one-to-one in a new and really interesting way. And actually brands that aren't connected to HFSS have also been very, very interested in this ad product as well. So we're excited to get that out.
What's been if there's been any hurdles with conversations so far? So it sounds like you're doing lots on the back end in terms of innovation, new ad products. What's on clients' wish lists? What do they want to see more of? Is it a scale issue? Do they want to see more users before they start spending more budget with you? I mean, what's sort of the question that comes across?
I mean, yeah, they definitely want us to have audience coming in, which we are and we will continue to do so. There's so much happening in that space. There has been around how they buy us. CPCV has been a bit of a blocker, but opening up kind of new ways to buy WeAre8, we hope, and well, there's no reason why that shouldn't bring in lots of opportunity for us and new possibility for brand. We do sometimes get put in a bit of a purpose bucket, which is frustrating. Brands will choose perhaps to wait to work with us until they have a brief that's in their kind of sustainability or social responsibility space. And that has we continuously kind of really want brands to understand that this should just be something that you're considering for every single brief that you're working on, not just those ones. Our story is so strong in that space, so I understand why they kind of naturally get into that headspace. But we work hard to remind people of the great results that you get, and all of that goodness that comes from it is an added benefit for you.
Have you noticed any change in terms of the posture of the industry toward more sustainable or social responsibility campaigns? I mean, it seems like from an outside looking in, or sometimes inside, hopefully, looking in as a journalist, that there's been a lot of resistance basically post-Trump that to really supporting purpose-driven media. Is that your experience?
I mean, it's hard to outwardly say that, isn't it? I care about that stuff less. No, I don't. On the flip side, there's a lot of people that are seeing what's happening and thinking, I need to look at alternatives. And it might not be connected to sustainability. It might just be connected to like, actually, I need to start diversifying where we're spending our money. I think it's like 49% of every pound spent in the UK is going to the duopoly, Meta and Google. And I think that to me, there seems this growing sense of, I guess, just a bit of consideration over, should we look at alternatives? Should we think about where that money's going, what it's funding, what else we could be doing? So that it feels like there's a lot of groundswell around that, which I think is great.
So apart from the new information that you provided on the podcast, you've also made some interesting announcements recently that I imagine tie in with your growth plans. You partnered with The Independent on their new AI-based news platform called Bulletin. I'm curious what's behind that partnership and how does it fit within WeAre8's brand positioning?
Yeah, we're super excited about our work. They're an amazing team over there, and they were actually one of the first publishers, The Independent, to join WeAre8 a good kind of probably 2.5 years ago now.
And how many publishers are on the platform at this point?
I mean, probably overall there's about 150 different brands globally. We work with Prisma in France, for example. We've got most of the major publishers live with at least one or two brands in the UK. So we've made huge progress, and for me that was a big focus over the last kind of 12 to 18 months. But the independent team came in and spoke to us about Bulletin. It's a really exciting launch. It's social first news. It's obviously that they're recognised as a really trusted news source, and it's condensed news that's easy to digest. You can go off and find out more if you want deeper reads, obviously through their website, through the Independent as well. But it's actually, how can we help people stay informed, knowing how busy their lives are, but do that through the lens of a really trusted brand? Because mis and disinformation, as we know, is a huge problem, and social media has played a big role in challenges around democracy. So we're excited to work with fantastic news brand to help us do our work against mis and disinformation and elevate really credible news sources on the platform. And there's a few things about the way that WeAre8 works that's particularly appealing to publishers and news brands. One of those things is that every single post taps out to their owned and operated. It's not a go to our link in bio and try and figure out how the hell to get back to this article that post I just saw is about. Every single post taps straight out to a unique link. So because we don't have to keep people scrolling obsessively through our feeds to show them more and more ads, we can take them out with every post. So it's really liberating for publishers. And obviously you've got these super highways of Google and other social apps. They're just keeping people there. And there's an abundance of amazing information on the internet that no one's finding. So WeAre8 creates this whole ecosystem, digital and social ecosystem, that's about movement and freedom and exploration. So they love the fact that every post taps out, they can get people back to their sites, they can monetize their owned and operated, which is a challenge, obviously, given the way others operate. And it's about helping mobilize people around the news as well. So we can tap people straight out to sign a petition. So they can make a difference then and there, but then they can also pay their earnings forward to a charity that is doing work around something that they've just seen in the news. So I'm going to read this actually. So thinking about the earthquake that rocked kind of Myanmar and Thailand, when we're thinking about bigger picture stuff from a WeAre8 perspective, if and when we get 10 million people around the world to pay £2 from their wallet forward to a charity such as Save the Children through the WeAre8 wallet, it would get, in this instance, 100,000 families an emergency shelter and bedding kit, 500,000 children a school in a bag kit, and 200,000 baby hygiene kits. And it would do that within hours. So they've seen this story about an earthquake, they can tap out and read more, and they can go and pay some money forward then and there to actually drive change. So the whole model, it feels like news needed to be reimagined, and how news connected with social media and how it connected through social media with audiences in a new way. And we've done that, and we've done it in a way where people don't have to feel powerless. Because that's the hard thing when you're watching these horrible, awful things and you have no voice and you have no ability to support. And WeAre8 opens up all of that.
I think it's a really interesting example of the ad model creating a system in which you can support news.
Completely.
And you can, I guess, support charity or donations, obviously.
Yeah.
Most platforms that I've interviewed or I've spoken with or I interact with personally want to keep me on the platform for as long as possible, as often as possible. And because the ad models opt in, that's just not the case for WeAre8. So I think it's just really unique and interesting. And I'd be curious to see if other people look to adopt a similar model, and again, how effective it is, because you do really have to lure, if you're not going to, it's more of a carrot than a stick model, I guess, in terms of watching ads and sort of forcing people to see ads, which is really quite interesting. What other announcements are in the pipeline? I mean, are you looking to partner with more publishers other than just the independent?
Yeah. So we love the model that we have in place with the independent, as well as Bulletin, who are bringing us lots of fantastic exclusive content. We also have the wider independent media portfolio on WeAre8, including BuzzFeed, Tasty, Seasoned, Huffington Post. We've got their journalists on the app who are, talking to people in flows, which is the area of the app that's our version of X. Essentially, it's text-based conversation, but these journalists can have conversation without fear of death threats.
Right.
For example.
Sure.
So yes, absolutely. We are looking at what other media partners we could work with in a similar way, because it works well for both parties. The more we grow, the more they grow, the healthier all of our ecosystems become. We will be announcing, if we haven't already, by the time you will hear this, a partnership with Clash magazine. Very cool music mag. Check it out. We will be their primary social channel. They are working with us on culture and really helping us kind of get to the heartbeat of modern culture and putting WeAre8 there. So we're excited about that work. We are also announcing a partnership with the Featured Artists Coalition, who represent music artists across the UK. A lot of them very frustrated with social media. They can't cut through the algorithms. Their content isn't monetized. They can't afford to tour. All the things. So we are reimagining how social media can work for the music industry and music artists. So though we're excited about Featured Artists Coalition, Clash is obviously very much in the music space. We're doing a whole host of grassroots gigs with Music Venue Trust as well. We also have some fantastic partnerships in sports. Big focus for us on women's sports and also grassroots sports. Birmingham County, Leeds Rhinos, we're working with in the UK. And I think that's there's so many things I love about WeAre8 and what we're doing, but actually kind of looking at building partnerships to get people off their phones. I know it sounds really counterintuitive, but we want people to be able to watch live music. We want kids to be able to go out and be able to play grassroots football, and through our wallet and through our economics and by inspiring people with great content, we can do that. The Birmingham, there's stuff coming with Birmingham County, and actually the models that we've built in the UK with publishers, with sporting communities, with the music industry, we're now starting to roll out those models in different countries, which is very exciting. So we've built the framework, we've built the model here, and now we go. So we're working with Marseille Football Club, as well as Prisma in France. We're working with Como Women's in Italy. Hot for the press, this was just done last week. We're working with Minnesota Aurora in the US, and so on and so on and so on. So sport, a big focus, music, a big focus, publishers, a big focus for us, and obviously all a big part of our continued growth over the coming weeks and months.
And you mentioned music artists, and it's not just music artists, because I also have this problem on a lot of social media, fail to get that cut through because of the algorithm getting in the way. I mean, how do you ensure that isn't happening on your own platform, that people are actually seeing the people that they follow or that they want to see information from?
Great question. So we have 2 feeds. We have 3, actually. We have 3 content areas within WeAre8. So we have an 8-stage feed, which is an elevated content feed that brings you the very best of all of our publishers and creators and partners on the app. So you'll see wonderful, informative, feel-good, inspirational content on that discovery feed. Then our middle feed, which we call your following feed, is your build your own algorithm feed, basically. So you will only see content from the people, publishers, friends that you actively choose to follow in chronological order in that feed. So this isn't big tech having control over what you see. This is you having control over what you see. So if you only want to see your friends, and my friends went missing years ago on other social platforms, if you only want to see your friends, just follow your friends. If you want to see a load of brilliant news brands, just follow news brands. There won't be any sponsored posts. There won't be any ads. That feed is just for you. And the keywords, freedom, choice, control for you. So healthy algorithms on WeAre8.
And I guess sort of to conclude, I mean, how are you measuring success for the platform, let's say over the next year or so? What needs to go right in order for you to succeed, however you're defining it? And I guess also what's at stake if you aren't able to succeed?
We're definitely going to succeed. I can't tell you what an amazing team we have at WeAre8, and we have amazing kind of backers and partners with us all the way. And the world needs this, and now's the time, right? Like the context's right, the product's right, the leadership is right, and for us now, you know, we run hard. We're all working our asses off, for want of a but to build something that we all deserve, to build a future for social media where everything's possible and we can all thrive. And by all, I mean me as an individual, I mean my kids, I mean grassroots football clubs, I mean publishers, I mean journalists, I mean like all of us. And what does success look like? Well, it looks like exactly that example I shared earlier. It looks like actually us coming together in a really positive way and driving brilliant collective impact and supporting people around the world. So we're racing hard. Our North Star was like 1% of the world's population watching a couple of minutes of ads a day, and we have all these amazing stats about what that would achieve. But I think we can do that really quickly.
Aim higher.
Yeah. for me, you know, like that's phase one. And then, you know, there's no reason why you shouldn't then have the opportunity to watch a WeAre8 ad on TV, listen to one on radio, look at one on out of home, on an out of home site. You know, we can turn the whole advertising ecosystem into something flipping amazing. We like to think big at WeAre8, but we have a publisher network already. You know, there's no reason why we can't take our amazing ad unit and WeAre8 kind of beyond the app and support people in new and different ways as we continue to grow.
Well, it's a lofty ambition, but I wish you the best of luck. It sounds very interesting, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you, Laura Chase. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Media Leader Podcast. Our executive producer is me, Jack Benjamin. Special thanks to our production partner, TriSonic. You can find all our episodes on the podcast platform of your choice or on our website at uk.themedialeader.com. But do please remember to subscribe to be notified of our next episode. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at The Media Leader to receive daily coverage of all the biggest news stories in media and advertising. From all of us at The Media Leader, I'm Jack Benjamin. See you next time.